Game 4 back here at Dodger Stadium after last night's thriller. 18 innings, 6 hours and 40 minutes, and a Dodgers Freddie Freeman home run walked it off for a 2-1 World Series lead. And so we play Game 4 tonight. And with that, we send it over to the Dodgers public address announcer, Todd Lights.
Kindly remove your caps for our nation's colors. Presented today by the Los Angeles Fire Department Honor Guard. Now, fans, please remain standing for the singing of the national anthems. To sing the Canadian national anthem, please welcome Grammy-nominated Broadway star and Canadian Music Hall of Fame inductee, Deborah Cox.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true, north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for
Now to sing the national anthem of the United States of America, please welcome multi-platinum certified award-winning singer-songwriter, Tinashe.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ran like the bombs bursting in anger, proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And the embrace of fellow countrymen Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Roki Sasaki. Ohtani played through body cramps, getting on base 9 times, the most in World Series history in the game. Yamamoto volunteered to pitch in relief 2 days after throwing a complete game. Sasaki gave the Dodgers an inning and 2/3 of shutout baseball. Ohtani is the highest paid player in the game. Yamamoto, its highest paid pitcher. In that embrace, that did not matter. What mattered was the shared knowledge they knew they had given everything to the cause of victory. Joe.
And they have have the Dodgers within 2 wins of a repeat championship. Duvlat and the Blue Jays have a response as they try to get this series back to Toronto. Now a message sponsored by Corona. La Playa is always just a lime away. The Dodgers take the field, and the Blue Jays get ready to bat without their heart and soul at the top of it. Instead, it'll be Nathan Lucas to lead things off for John Schneider, with George Springer out of the lineup as Kenny reported. Everybody just slides up. Guerrero hits second, and Bichette third. Addison Barger's all the way up into the cleanup spot, followed by Alejandro Kirk, who went deep in last night's game and is having a fantastic fall classic. Clement Jimenez and Kiner Falefa, as the dominoes fall, finds himself back in the lineup at second base. 18-inning thrillers. 6-5 the way of the Dodgers, and in the moments after that, in the Dodger clubhouse.
But we got a game later today, all right? Hey, we got a game later today.
And Shohei Ohtani's showing his teammates what he plans to do. One day after he hits 2 home runs and reaches base 9 times, which is 3 more than anybody ever had in a World Series game, Shohei Ohtani, for the first time, pitches in the Fall Classic.
Yeah, he has so many ways to get you out. His pitching record will speak for itself because he's got just half a season under his belt. But there's the many ways he can get you out. He's one of the greatest athlete I've ever seen. And we'll see what his legs are like. His fastball's electric. Everything's electric. Can he have the stamina and the mental discipline to get through what he did last night and get through a game on the mound? We'll talk that through as the game goes on.
He's in his second season with the Dodgers. His first as a two-way guy. Finished off his recovery back from his second Tommy John surgery midway through this season. So he started pitching in June. Normally a guy comes back from Tommy John, it's going to take him some time. But what did Ohtani do? He had a 2.87 ERA. He had the highest strikeout rate in baseball. And into the postseason as a pitcher for the first time. He beats the Phillies in Game 1 of the Division Series. He has a game for the ages in the clinching game of the CS with 10 strikeouts over 6 scoreless innings while he hits 3 home runs. And now he gets it going in the World Series. The umpiring crew will line up this way with John Tumpane calling balls and strikes. The Dodgers 2 wins away from becoming the first repeat champion since the New York Yankees at the turn of the century. The Blue Jays, meanwhile, trying to steal one of these next 2 games to get this back to Canada for a Game 6. With Springer out, it's Nathan Lucas to lead things off. Off of that 18-inning epic, off we go in Game 4 with a fastball, up and away, 1 ball, no strikes.
Early on, the adrenaline is going to be kicking pretty good for Ohtani. So see if the Toronto Blue Jays can keyhole his fastball and not chase it out of the strike zone.
Fresh off of last night's craziness, it's a highlight defensive play to start Game 4.
Didn't have to mess with any spectators. Ohtani's like, thank you very much.
And the other Hernandez applause.
This is the matchup I wanted to see. These are 2 of the greatest stars in our game, and offensively, they have done a nice job and slowed down Guerrero. No extra base hits. Pitching them tough.
Guerrero fouls off a first pitch fastball. As aggressive as we've seen him go out of the zone, he's been so locked in. Dodgers have really pitched him tough in this series. He's been on base 7 times, but does not have an extra base hit. Has not knocked in a run. 0-2.
Of the breaking balls, the slower breaking ball is the only pitch that's going to give Guerrero fits, in my opinion. He can hit just about everything else.
Ohtani gets him on 3 pitches. And by the way, thanks to Sydney Sweeney for our opening video piece today. Her new film, Christie, will be in theaters on November 7th. 2 up and 2 down for Shohei Ohtani in this first inning, and here's Bo Bichette.
I know a lot of people think and thought and probably still believe I'm crazy, but this is where he's the most comfortable, is on the mound. I know his offensive numbers are going to trump anything that I can explain as a starting pitcher, but this guy is unbelievable in his athleticism to repeat his mechanics and throw pitches that we just don't get a chance to see because he's been hurt for a while. Well, now he's healthy.
Doing Babe Ruth-type stuff, but he's done it for a longer stretch than the Babe did. 2 outs, Bo Bichette swings and misses at a fastball at 98. But Bichette up to hit third now with everybody sliding up with Springer out. Bichette was 2 for 4, knocked in a run and scored a run yesterday before John Schneider got very aggressive with his bench, unloaded it as that game went on. Just misses there, 1 ball, 1 strike.
The Blue Jays have to do something in tonight's game to shock the system of Ohtani. Right now, he's riding a tidal wave of success and emotion.
Man, that sweeper looks good.
Like I said, he can break a ball in so many different ways. He can throw it slower. He can throw the slider tighter. He can split finger you underneath the barrel, and then he can ride the fastball up in the zone that you're going to have a hard time catching up with.
Looking for a 1-2-3 first. Bichette takes it away. Shane Bieber ready to throw his first pitch momentarily. The 2-2. No. Lays off again, and he's worked it full. It's amazing what Bo Bichette has done, having not played in a month and a half, coming back into this World Series, and in 3 games hitting above 400. The payoff. Bichette takes ball 4, and the Jays have their first base runner.
I mean, that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to really battle a guy who can throw a lot of pitches in the strike zone and pick and choose their moments to make him work as hard as possible. The fatigue factor is in his mind that you block out until it becomes so real you can't block it out. It's going to be real at some point in tonight's game.
Getting kept alive for the powerful Addison Barger. 2 more hits yesterday. Over the top of the curve, he slows it down to 76. That's a 23-mile-per-hour differential.
But that's what I'm talking about. People that never pitch, they don't understand when I make the comments that he has the ability to manipulate a baseball as good as anybody I've ever seen. Top to bottom, right to left. Now, you've got to have great mechanics and touch to be able to throw these kind of pitches, the 5 and 6 that he has. And I'm telling you, he could survive with just his fastball. That's how good his fastball is. But it's almost like a show pitch.
For Sho Hei, he's got 7 different pitches. And really, with his breaking pitches, you can slice those up differently. It can become 9 or 10 different pitches.
Absolutely. And his release point, sometimes a little lower. And he will sweep that curveball across the zone.
Now, what you're talking about, hitting something that he does. Pitching, if you ask him, is who he is.
Yep.
His whole life, this is what he's dreamt of. Pitching in the big leagues. Pitching in the World Series. 31-year-old from Oshu, Japan. The Barger with a 2-1 pitch. A fastball right down Broadway, 2-2.
And where we'll talk throughout the game is why the legs are so important for a pitcher. It's the fastball consistency. When your legs are a little tired, you lose your upper body a little too much. You pull that fastball. That plane in which he threw that ball, unhittable, because it stays right there.
Now, lays off a curve. A couple Blue Jays working deep counts against him. Bichette drew the walk. And we'll get a head start here with a 3-2 to Barger. One of the hottest Blue Jays hitters. Over his last 8 games, Barger's hitting .385 with 3 home runs. Jays looking for that big swing early. Here it comes. A shot left side. Muncy able to get there and keeps it in the infield, but it's a hit for Barger. And it's a chance for the Jays in the first.
Well, they had some chances up until about the 10th inning. And here's what the Jays can get a win out of this inning already by the fact that 2 outs pretty quickly, and now the last 2 batters have put that pitch count, in a place where it could add up, a bullpen that's depleted.
You look back at yesterday's game as Alejandro Kirk comes to the plate. There were just so many moments that felt like they could be the moment that kept on getting topped and topped again and topped by an even bigger one. Kirk had one of those early moments. A 3-run home run that gave the Blue Jays the lead. 5 out of 10 in this Fall Classic with 2 long balls. Tied with Cal Raleigh this year. Sandy Alomar for the most home runs by a catcher in a single postseason. And this is not necessarily his game. He's found that power stroke in October. Pops it up. Right side of the diamond, last night's hero, Freddie Freeman, waits on it to come down. He finishes off and scored his first inning for Shohei Ohtani, who'll go into the phone booth, get changed, and ready to lead off. Dodgers in Game 4 with Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman to follow him. Part of the order for Dave Roberts as Will Smith hitting cleanup. Teoscar Hernandez coming off a 4-hit ball game. Max Muncy's at third. And then it's Edmund, Kike Hernandez, and Andy Pages to round things out. Ohtani last night on base all 9 times. His last 2 home games, he's been up 13 times. He's reached base 13 times. 7 out of 7 with 5 home runs his last 2 games at Dodger Stadium. The incomparable Shohei Ohtani leading off against Shane Bieber. Now taken upstairs for ball 1. Shane Bieber, 30 years old, out of Laguna Beach, California. Now behind Ohtani 2-0. He's acquired at the deadline from Cleveland. Had not pitched in a year and a half when the Blue Jays picked him up. He's coming off Tommy John surgery. So the Blue Jays were betting on the resume, betting on a couple of rehab starts that they had seen, but dreaming of him pitching in games like this, hoping that he could tap into his Cy Young form that he showed in Cleveland. His 3-0 to Ohtani is in for a strike.
Well, that pitch right there is where they got to go, and I know they're hesitant to ever pitch to him in crucial situations. Might be the only time they pitch to him all game.
See if he gets anything good on 3-1. It's a heck of a knuckle curve right there. Bieber's got nasty breaking stuff.
And his slider's going to be the key for him tonight. He's started off each game. That ball's a ball, but he started off each game with a lackluster sliders, and then he's able to make the adjustment mid-game, second and third inning.
Here he comes to the payoff, and Ohtani takes ball 4. I think he got him backwards. It ultimately winds up in a walk like it should have been, but he called ball 4, strike 2, and then he called strike 3, ball 4. How hard is this? I mean, he's doing 2 full-time jobs. It's a full-time job to be a pitcher. It's a full-time job to be a hitter. He's doing both at the same time.
It really is impossible, and I'll do my best to explain it. Like, the thought today is probably not going to steal much because his legs and everything he went through, but we'll see. He might do that too. But he has no time to prepare for his start. Every pitcher who pitches in a starting pitcher, they're thinking, watching, fresh. They got no stress the day before. They're watching the opposing hitters. He can't do that.
Go on to Mookie Betts.
No. So when does he mentally prepare? It's in game and it's today. Plus you got to sleep. You want your most sleep on the night before you're pitching. Well, that was tough because you got to bed at probably 1:15, 1:30 in the morning. And then you're kind of on the fly doing the things. You can do your work on an off day 3-4 days ago, but then guess what? Hitters change.
His passions are baseball and sleep, by the way. Obsessive about getting those 10 to 12 hours a night.
Yeah, and I'm not saying hitters don't need any sleep. Don't get me wrong. They got a hard job, too, especially when you go 18 innings. But just yesterday, Bieber didn't have to worry about anything other than late. He had to get his specs on. He might have been in the game if it kept going.
His 2-1 is in there for strike 2 on Betts.
So, to put it simply, he could kick back, watch the game on TV, watch where the hitters are, what they're swinging against, watching his teammate pitch against him. Well, Shohei's watching the other pitcher. He's watching who he's going to face and preparing to hit the entire night.
In the dirt, stopped by Kirk, and Ohtani's not going anywhere.
So the bottom line is, there is not a position or a player that has ever been put through the discipline and the mental toughness to do what this guy is doing at the highest level under the most attention and delivering beyond anybody's expectations.
Yeah, the spotlight here in Los Angeles, the expectations that come with a record-setting deal, and he's trying to go 2 for 2 winning World Series here. That sends a pop flying to right center field, and there's been a lot of that from Mookie Betts in recent days. Part of the reason that John Schneider's been able to be so cautious when it comes to how he pitches Ohtani. So 1-0 on 1 out in this first inning. Shane Bieber, who they got at the deadline, 7 starts for him after they brought him over. Those are 7 starts coming off Tommy John surgery. He's made 3 in the postseason. And his 11th start in the last year and a half is his World Series debut. He faces off with last night's last hero, because there were a bunch of them as that game ventured on. First time, became the first guy in World Series history to have multiple walk-off home runs.
It's rare in a game like that last night that actually a hitter's swing could get better as the night was going on. And you could see Freddie was getting closer and closer to getting on top of those fastballs until he finally did and sent everybody home.
Now to 0-1 from Bieber. Freeman takes inside. There were several balls that looked like they were going to go and didn't. So everybody in the Dodger dugout was saying, hey, until we actually see the thing fly out, at this point, we're just going to figure it's not going. And Freddie said he didn't know if he got his. How hard he hit a couple earlier in the night. Same with Will Smith and Teoscar Hernandez. They didn't get him. Bouncing ball to second. Backs up counter for one play. Goes to second to get Ohtani. Two gone in this first inning, and time for Fox Foresight, powered by Google Cloud. Takes a look at the Dodger offense, which did enough last night. The Dodgers 2 wins away from winning it all, even though this big-time offense with 3 MVPs has not really clicked in yet.
No, they haven't, and that's, I guess you can look at that as a positive for the amount of wins that they've had already in the postseason. You would figure they're going to get going at some point, but if they still keep getting the pitching that they're getting, they don't need quite as much.
Fulfilling the cliche that pitching wins championships. Google Cloud powered those real-time insights, built with Gemini. Here's Will Smith.
No.
How about Will Smith's job last night? Catching all 18 innings. Took that foul tip off of the forearm. Dave Roberts texted him this morning to check in. How you doing? And he said, I feel great. Feel good. Why? Why do you ask? Both catchers. Kirk and Heineman sharing last night's duties for the Jays. Foul ball, and it's 1-1. Speaking of the life of a catcher, Kirk wears that foul tip. We got that spike on Jimenez there. Checks on him, make sure that he's okay. Both teams at first inning base runners. Blue Jays stranded 2. Dodgers have Freeman at first with 2 out. And this 1-1 to Will Smith is poked to right center field. Barger's going back with room. An inning in the books in Game 4. No score between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. To support its programs and initiatives. After an inning, no score on a beautiful night in Los Angeles. Temperature up around 90 today. Down to the low 80s as we move through Game 4. Wow. Well, we saw him throw 7 different pitches in that first inning. You were talking about how hard it is on the hitters, and this shows us why, as we see on StatCast 3D.
Yeah, he just breaks the baseball in so many different ways. When you got to think about the 4-seam fastball, that's one thing. Then the splitter comes off of that. We haven't seen it yet. Then the curveballs that he throws, one big, one slow. And then the slider is the tighter version of the breaking ball that makes it even more difficult. He'll mix in a cutter. He'll mix in whatever he wants.
Scores in a strikeout. Now ball, and it's 1-1. Yeah, there's this idea, this false idea that greatness or genius is something you're born with. It couldn't be further from the truth with Ohtani, with anybody who gets to the level that he's at. Genius is more about identifying what you're meant to do and then pouring your life into it. And he's an example of that. Youngest of 5, sports-loving family, out in the middle of nowhere in the northern part of Japan. His dad was a baseball player. His mom was a badminton player. He got into baseball when he was 8, and right away it became his passion, became really his life. And every single day was spent trying to get better at it. He'd wait for his dad to come home from his job so they could play catch. Then him and his dad started to share a journal where they jot down thoughts about his games and his practices, what was going well, what he needed to work on. Let's go back to the bad for out number 2. And for years, they'd write back and forth on that. Always making sure to check in, are you still having fun? Shohei even made a year-to-year life plan for his career and his personal life. He had the stuff in there like when he wanted to get married, all the way to finishing off his big league career as a 40-year-old. He plans to finish as a 40-year-old and pitch a no-hitter in his last game. So with all that intentionality and with the talent that comes out of working like that, well, that's how you get to where he is right here. Finishes high school as already a household name in Japan. First one to Jimenez is tapped back to him. And after 5 seasons doing his thing as a two-way guy in Japan, he comes to the big leagues at 23. 8 years of doing what we've never seen done before. And really, at the end of the day, this is just a big kid that loves baseball. Another that is the lasting image of him. Waits on this 2-1 from Bieber. Edman up the middle, base hit center field. Muncy running the bases hard. Marshall's arm is not good. First and third wide.
Biggest part of the field on the infield is up the middle. And that's exactly where he went. Gets on top of the ball, hits it right back up the middle. Easy first to third situation. And now we got our first run scoring opportunity for the Dodgers. And Bieber's going to try to induce a ground ball here. Really trying to get a ground ball to shortstop.
With Kike Hernandez coming to the plate. Another one of the themes of last night's game. Neither team good with runners in scoring position. They combined to go 4 for 26. As part of that approach you're talking about, instead of the simple base hit to get a guy in, those big swings, and they didn't. Hernandez in the dirt. Kirk able to knock it down there with a backhand.
You know what stands out for me? And it's maybe a little unfair to cherry pick the one situation, but right after the pitching coach came out, Ohtani's at the plate, Dominguez is on the mound, and I know it's only a 1-run lead, but he didn't execute. Whether they told him to pitch around him, you just can't throw the first pitch right down the middle, especially a fastball. I thought we'd see a lot of splits. That turned everything upside down for John Snyder because he had made defensive changes, pinch running changes. Of course, Springer comes out of the game. And they had no offense the rest of the game to score a run, in my opinion, based on what they were trying to defend and finish the game off with.
Well, he said with 3 games in a row right here, he was going to look for the kill in one of them to guarantee that the series gets back to Toronto, and they had it right there with the lead late. The chase from Kike Hernandez, 1 ball, 1 strike. 18 innings, 399 minutes of epic baseball. One of the greatest World Series games of all time. Hernandez had 2 hits for the Dodgers. Trying to get him on the board here in Game 4. Bouncer foul, 1 and 2.
Well, if Hernandez is in pull mode and you make a good breaking ball pitch right here, unless he chops it slow, you're going to get a recipe of a ground ball. So you make this breaking ball. If you're Bieber, you throw it knee high in the middle of the plate and let it break. He will not stay off of it. He'll try to lift it, hit the top of the ball, and it'll be a ground ball. If you leave it up, he'll lift it in the air, and he could do damage with it.
The margin's so slim. First and third, 1 away. Scoreless second inning. 1-2 pitch from Shane Bieber.
Now,
slider taken away.
That one wasn't on the plate enough. It's a good pitch, 1-2, 100%. You're going to try to see if you can chase. But now you got to make this one look more like a strike and end up less like a non-competitive ball.
He's been throwing that slider more and more here in the postseason. Now he tries a 2-2. Hernandez pulls it to left field to the corner and foul. Need to be lower?
Yeah, need to be lower. He hooked it foul. Now, again, breaking ball. He got out in front of that one, got to it. I would say if he wanted to go for the punch out now, you go inside and up or inside off the plate and get him to be able to swing and miss. Now you go for the strikeout after all those breaking balls if Bieber goes to the fastball.
Walking a single, have him at the corners. Another 2-2 from Bieber. It is the fastball, and it's lifted to deep right field. Barger goes back on it. Steps onto the warning track, plenty deep enough to bring home the game's first run.
The reason I didn't like that away is it's too easy to lift the ball away for that sac fly. You got to be so good inside to be able to do that as a hitter and pull your hands in. That pitch actually did him a favor to get that fly ball.
Kike Hernandez knocks in Max Muncy. The Dodgers go walk, single, sacrifice fly, and lead game 4. One of the stories of last night's game was how good they were with 2 strikes. Dave Roberts had been talking about how disappointed he was in the fight, in the at-bats, in the games leading up to last night. But they had 11 2-strike hits. And Hernandez with a sacrifice fly with 2 strikes right there.
That good piece of hitting on his part. He took what the pitcher gave him, and he went right where the area you should go.
And Andy Pages continues to get opportunities. No. Roberts at this point, John, is looking at this saying, okay, we got a 2-1 series lead. On paper, we got the better roster that should win. Pages has been terrible, but do we need to shake it up for the sake of shaking it up?
No, if you had 3 of those guys in there, someone would sacrifice and have to come out. But no, I agree.
So he continues to have Pages in there for his defense in center. He gets into this ball in the air to center field, but off the end of the bat, a touch. Dalton Varsho gallops under it to end the inning. Dodgers strike first. A sac fly from Kike Hernandez. 2 coming up for the Blue Jays. Down 1-0. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa leads things off. And the Blue Jays all season have found an identity in coming from behind, simply leading the majors in comeback wins, but also when it's looked like you need to count them out. Coming off a last-place finish. And then 2 months into the year, they're below 500, and it's like, yeah, they're doing what everybody figured they would. John Schneider said he knew early on they were different, though. 0-2 on Kiner-Falefa. He said back to spring training, just seeing the blend of personalities in the clubhouse, he had a feeling they'd be the kind of group that wouldn't just roll over. And as each month went by, he got more evidence that would be who they are.
No.
It's 1-2 on Kiner-Falefa. This, though, is another level of a gut punch. That game last night, they're down 2-0 in the championship series. They were down 3-2 in the championship series. This is perhaps their biggest test yet at turning the page. Ohtani's 1-2 to Kiner-Falefa. A fastball, punch to second. Tommy Edman to the first out of the third. Back to the top of the order, Nathan Lucas comes up, and we go down to Tom Verducci.
Yeah, Shohei Ohtani left the ballpark last night at 10 after midnight. Now, as you mentioned, Joe, he loves his sleep. I'm not sure how much sleep he got in after last night. But it's interesting. I asked Dave Roberts about any hesitation about having him be a 2-way player tonight. He had his lineup made up even before Shohei arrived. He said it was never a doubt that he was going to DH and pitch tonight.
It's amazing. But if there's anything that baseball fans are starting to learn, it is don't bet against anything when it comes to this guy showing up, doing stuff that we've not seen done, and doesn't seem like he should be able to do. Inside with his first one to Nathan Lucas. Defying conventional wisdom, making us rethink what's possible.
I just love how they rolled him out in the second half and really slow rolled it, right? Like 1 inning, then 1 inning, then 2 innings. I don't know if he'll pitch in the postseason. Yeah, right.
Lucas rips a base hit into right field. Over to cut it off Hernandez. He holds Lucas to a single. And for more on Lucas, here's Ken Rosenthal.
Joe, Nathan Lucas had that big bases-loaded at bat against Clayton Kershaw in the 12th inning last night, and he told me he actually moved up on the plate for the first pitch, kind of hoping he would get hit, thinking Kershaw might be a little wild. It didn't happen, and obviously after the first strike, he moved back, winds up grounding out on a pitch outside the zone. He knew it. He said, "You don't normally see me throw my helmet, but I did."
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. takes low, and it seems like every time we bring up something from last night, it reminds us of another key moment, another image that you'll remember. Clayton Kershaw coming out of the bullpen for the first time in his career in extra innings. And perhaps the last pitches he'll throw in the big leagues, getting out of that jam.
You could not pick a worse scenario for the greatest pitcher to handle a narrative that ended up not being a narrative, right? And he got it done. It was the only batter he faced. He knew the moment was going to be huge.
No.
And the guy on deck, if he faced him, nothing good could happen. Meaning the run had scored or more, and you're going to face Guerrero. So, what a moment. And there were, like you said, so many of them, but he got it done.
Guerrero's up there right here with a 2-0 from Ohtani. A fastball's hit foul. Remember in the All-Star game when we were talking to Kershaw, he faced Guerrero, and Vlad hit one like 115 to left field for an out. But, yeah, that is not an ideal matchup for Clayton Kershaw. And you asked Dave Roberts' level of nerves when Kershaw came in. He said, yeah, I'm nervous because I wanted him to do well for the guy, but at that point, that was the best option. And anytime that's the case, you got to have conviction in it. Got to be able to live with it. And a night where they set a World Series record by using 10 different pitchers and had an 11th warning for the 19th in Yamamoto. There's a fly ball to deep left center field. Headed back there. It is gone. Vlad Jr. gives the Jays the lead. The franchise face putting the team on his back.
I tell you, this guy's amazing, and he's ready for everything. I mean, this is the first mistake that Ohtani has made, and he didn't get it back. And he can appreciate that because he does that to every other pitcher when he's at the plate. This breaking ball is up, barrel of the bat, out in front. And I said, if a spinner is in the zone, it's a recipe for a launched home run. All you got to do is backspin it as a hitter and get that barrel to the ball, and the ball just takes off.
7th of the postseason for Guerrero. On the ground is second, Tommy Edman.
Toronto just has to do something to surprise the crowd and surprise Ohtani. And I'm telling you, this will be a big challenge for Ohtani. Everything we laid out, the fatigue factor's real. He's not going to use it as an excuse. No one would ever. But as this game plays on, he was going to have to deal with the wear and tear of last night on the mound. I mean, for all intents and purposes, he may have like a brown lower half jersey because he's sliding way more than any other pitcher would ever slide when he gets on the mound because he's got so much action at the plate.
25th hit of the postseason for Vlad Jr. 1 ball, 1 strike on Barger.
First extra base hit, right?
Of this World Series, yeah. It's still, like you were talking about, taking what the Dodgers had given him. He's still getting his hits, getting his walks, but at a time where the team needed a little bit more than that, especially with George Springer out, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is there to provide it, as he's been throughout this postseason. Because remember, he hauled into these playoffs the burden of having done nothing but fail in previous Octobers. The Blue Jays were 0-6 in the postseason since Guerrero arrived. He had just 2 hits. But right from game 1 against the Yankees, when he crushed a home run in the first inning, he's been everything you could dream of from your franchise star. Barger to left, Hernandez there. A 2-run home run from Vlad Jr. has given the Blue Jays the lead in game 4.
If you really want it, you gotta feel it. And I'm feeling good.
Feeling good is an understatement.
I feel great.
I feel pretty good. When you hear that and you see the greatest baseball player, pitcher knows he's in trouble.
And I'm feeling
That's the song ringing through Dodger Stadium as Ohtani leads off this bottom of the 3rd against Shane Bieber in a 2-1 game. After Vlad Jr. goes deep against him, he leads off.
All right, we did a series with the Rangers where Corey Seager set the all-time record of walks in a series, right? I mean, he's got to be on his tail at the rate we're going and maybe break that.
4 intentional walks in yesterday's game. On base 9 times. The previous record was 6 times in a World Series game. And he had the walk to lead off today's game. That is 14 consecutive plate appearances where he's reached base.
The other thing people don't realize about Shohei Ohtani, you might slump at the plate as a position player, but you got your defense, right? You go home and you realize, he's got two parts of the game that he can't afford to be slumping at both at the same time, whether it's, pitching and hitting. So he's got something to think about every single time he goes out. And mechanically, he's got to deal with two different fashions of his sport.
On a 2-2 from Bieber, he fouls it into the glove. Bieber made his best changeup of the night to strike him out.
Changeup acting like a screwball away from the outside part of the plate. And again, we talked about it all night last night. Nobody made those pitches against him in the first 4 at-bats. Nobody got a ball on the outside part of the plate because he was willing to crush the mistakes, and he did. He crushed all of them.
Here's Betts with one away. Part of that, like we touched on when Betts flied out to right field, has been that Betts hasn't been able to make them pay when they pitch Ohtani carefully. Yeah. 1 for 8 yesterday and 4 for his last 31.
He's got a lot of movement with his hands, but when his timing's right, he hits a fastball better than anybody.
Speared at third by Clement.
That was point right there. When his hands get to a position of hitting, he's always going to take that first pitch for the most part. But when his hands are off, he's getting a lot of pop-ups. See that movement you saw right there? It's that little wiggle and timing. And where he's been off is you see pop-ups to the right side, pop-ups to the infield. That means you're getting underneath. You're not on top of the ball. And there's the hands and the movement in slow motion, and see how he connects better with the barrel to the ball.
2 up and 2 down. Bieber looking for the shutdown inning after the go-ahead home run. Here's Freeman.
Our guy on the desk had a lot of that movements with his hands, but he did better than anybody. And Derek Jeter fighting off some of those pitches to right field, pulling him when he had to, and Betts a little bit different in his hands. But every hitter has a timing mechanism, and every hitter gets just a little bit off, and you're a fraction off as a pitcher, it equates to location at the plate. Fraction off as a hitter, it equates to 102 off the bat versus pop-up or roll over to the ground ball.
I bet saw a lot of that this summer in what was his worst offensive season. Much less of it down the stretch and early on in the postseason, but these kinds of soft pop-ups have returned here down the stretch. Freeman said that he got not a whole lot of sleep. He said like 3 2-hour naps with a few play sessions in with the kids between them. The adrenaline running after last night's game. Now an 0-2 from Bieber. He pokes one to left center field. That's going to get down for a 2-out hit. T-Mobile, the best network in the game, is now the best network in America. Sun setting in Los Angeles.
I don't know about you, but I get those little 10-minute, I hit my snooze button. 10-minute nap feels like 40 when you got no sleep.
Power nap. Love it. You go too long, no, it's bad. Sluggish. You wake up all drowsy. Got to hit that sweet spot. 2-out base runner for the Dodgers in a 2-1 game here in the third. Will Smith. Fly to right his first time. And Smith, after hitting below 200 over the last 2 months of the regular season and then dealing with that hand injury, that's become a silver lining for him because he had to sit there and do not a whole lot. So the rest of his body got to get fresh after the grind of a long season of catching. And in the playoffs, he's got the top average on the Dodgers.
Only the change up there. If you got 2 different breaking balls, you want the slower breaking ball against Will Smith. He's good on everything, stays in there, doesn't overswing. But the slower breaking ball is going to give him more of a fit than the hard slider because it's got the speed and the velocity of which he's timing up and hitting well over 300.
Bueno.
Jays got a 2-out home run in the top of the inning. They're backbreakers in the postseason. That was a 2-out 2-run homer, right?
I think it's this one, but I can understand you. Probably not a whole lot of sleep last night for you either.
Oh, man.
I don't know if you have time to get one of those 10-minute naps in. 3-1 on Smith. Left side, cut off by Clement, takes his time, hits it across, and a shutdown inning for Shane Bieber. The Blue Jays with a 2-1 lead as they try to tie this series up.
Keep a horn on, echo my seat. I keep ownership, the blueprint is by me. Mr. Get Off, I get off at my feet.
It starts with the leadership guys. You know, I think that we've really kind of grasped onto that, and the guys play for one another. It's really, really cool to watch them just come every day and just focus on what's important, you know, that day. So off to a good start.
Shane Bieber, so far, what do you see?
So far, so good. You know, I think, you know, when Shane, his last few outings, especially in the postseason, when he kind of gets into the game, he gets into a good rhythm. I think that his breaking ball is good, curveball especially. Good changeup to Show Hey there for the strikeout. And I'd like to see him use his heater a little bit more, locate that, and open up some other things. But right now, I think he's pitching like a veteran does.
Finally, George Springer, you're listing him as day-to-day. How realistic is it that he might return in this series?
I think so. You know, he was able to swing a little bit this afternoon and kind of progressively feeling a little bit better as today goes on. So we'll see how the rest of this game goes. And if not today, hopefully tomorrow he should be good to go.
John, thanks a lot. Joe, back to you.
This is the part of the game that you got to watch for that fatigue and the adrenaline running off.
Breaking pitch gets him swinging, but it was over the plate.
Yeah, he has the stuff to get through this lineup. Don't get me wrong, but this is the part where you get the adrenaline is gone, and you're now working off of all the training you put in, all the effort to dominate on the mound. He's going to have to work really, really hard mentally on location from this point on.
One gone in the fourth inning, his second strikeout. Now he's home with a fastball for a strike on Dalton Varsho. Now, he was so good in high school in Japan that his plan was to go right to the United States, sign with a major league team right away, and pursue the pitching side of things. And he was so certain that he was going to do that he told Japanese teams, do not bother drafting me. I'm going straight to the States. There was one team, though, that ignored that and then sold him on the idea of trying this, of trying to do something nobody had ever done, and that is be a two-way guy. And he was already doing it. It's just he hadn't really considered that could be a path that he could take as a pro. And they had a forward-thinking manager on that team. The fighters were the team, and Hideki Kuriyama was the manager, kind of the Joe Madden of Japanese pro baseball.
Sitting on a park bench watching, you know, kids playing in the park or dogs running around. It's very relaxed. Maybe he's relaxed, as you say, because he's got such a good team. Ohtani strikes out the side in the top of the fourth, but it's the Blue Jays who still have the lead. They are up 2-1, going bottom four here in Game 4.
Caleb Joseph, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with a franchise record 7th career postseason home run. What stood out to you about that one?
Yeah, hitting the high breaking ball can present some challenges at times because the tendency is to see it up. You want to really go out there and get it. You can catch it on the upswing out in front, and it's an easy pitch to roll over. But what Vladdy does, he makes a really tight turn, keeps that back right elbow super tight to the body. That flattens the barrel out, and man, he absolutely puts it into orbit. As soon as he hit that ball, Hazel, he looked into his dugout trying to fire them up. I guarantee he fired up those fans at the Rogers Center.
Guerrero with 7 postseason home runs, Dan. Just 5 strikeouts. Now, in comparison, Shohei Ohtani, 8 playoff homers and 20 strikeouts. So Vladdy with just an elite ability with the bat-to-ball skills, guys.
No question about it. Hitting for average, not striking out, rarely swinging and missing, although Ohtani got him tonight, hitting for power, big hits at big moments, a 2-run home run tonight to give the Blue Jays a 2-1 lead back in the third. They still enjoy that slender 1-run lead here going to the top of the 5th.
That home run was his first extra base hit of this World Series. And as we heard earlier, he was born ready.
So we got a built for this in Trey Yesavage and a born ready in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And speaking of Yesavage, he has been confirmed as the Game 5 starter tomorrow night. It'll be a rematch of Game 1, Blake Snell and Trey Yesavage.
Now, Trey didn't have a split finger pitch at all in that start against the Dodgers. I'm anxious to see him pitch in Game 5. And I know he's chomping at the bit.
2-0 on Andres Jimenez. On the corner, 2-1.
Borderline pitch, just caught the outside corner. That's that cutter. He hasn't thrown many splitters at all tonight.
Got a fastball by him, 2-2.
Boy, good run on that fastball that started out over the inner part of the plate, just rode inside and really overmatched Jimenez with that running fastball.
Strikes him out. That is now 4 consecutive strikeouts for Ohtani.
Boy, he's got a very effective arsenal of pitches. That last pitch was a slider. He gets on top of it, and you can see how he gets that downward break on that breaking ball. Number 2 strikes. That's a tough pitch to lay off of. The spin is so tight, you don't see the rotation of the slider, and you swing at it as if it were a fastball.
And a curveball catches the top of the zone. 0-1 on Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who grounded out his first time up. Out in front, 0-2.
One thing that has changed in this era of baseball is that pitchers will throw curveballs up in the zone. They'll throw 2-seamers up in the zone. It's something that never used to happen. You throw a high curveball, that was a mistake. Now it's an effective pitch.
In the air to left center, but it's playable for Kike Hernandez on the second out.
Rogers, proud owner of Canada's team. Let's bring it home.
The 2 biggest home runs in franchise history, Carter, Springer?
Yeah, oh, no question. George Springer, that home run in Game 7, and then Joe Carter, the home run in Game 6 in the 93 World Series, the game winner.
I tell you what, I'm open to adding another one onto the podium if somebody else wants to do something dramatic in the next few days.
Absolutely. We got plenty of time for one of those.
Yep.
Now
2-0 on Nathan Lucas, who was 1 for 2, singled and scored on the Guerrero home run in the 3rd.
He really understands his role hitting ahead of Vladdy. He said, my role is to get on base for Vladdy. However I can do that. He said, when I get on base for Vladdy, that puts so much pressure on the pitcher. You don't have the luxury of pitching around him and hoping to get him to chase.
Just a good all-round ball player.
He's a ball player. There's no question about it.
And he's got a base hit into left center. Cut off out there by Pages. Second hit of the night for Lucas, and he does indeed get Guerrero to the plate.
First baseman, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Kind of a mixed reaction. Fans around the sport really like Vladdy. I mean, his likability comes across when you watch the games on TV, but the more he starts hitting the team that whoever the fans are supporting, the more some of the cheers turn to boos.
Yeah, well, he had a pretty good pitch to hit right there, but cut on and missed it. 99, right over the heart of the plate.
So he's now 4 for 10 with 2 homers in his career against Ohtani.
Ball in.
It's a lot of talent in that shot right there, isn't it?
Unbelievable. This, to me, is the finest head-to-head matchup in all the sports. Great pitcher against great hitter. One-on-one.
Ohtani ahead 1-2. And lined into center field, carrying out to Pages as the side is retired. 2-1 Blue Jays going bottom 5.
Last night, the Dodger bullpen covered 13 1/3. The Blue Jays bullpen covered 12 2/3. These starters with pressure on them to go deep, and we got a pitcher's duel developing. 2-1 to the 6th as Ohtani spins in a strike on Bo Bichette. 3, 4, and 5 for the Blue Jays. Difference in this game, a home run from Guerrero in the 3rd. Got a chase on a pitch that was a yard outside.
Listen, I know we tried to describe how great this guy is. I'm more impressed with tonight's outing for everything he's been through. No. I mean, because right now, you can't see it, but he's grinding. And he's using everything he has to pitch. To not just throw, to not just blow him away. He's pitching.
Couldn't hear the sign from Willie. They hit the button again. Well, you set it off at the top. Normally the starter is going to be the freshest guy in the building. It's the opposite of that. He's played an 18-inning game. Fires 1-2. Bichette fights it off. On his way to a 3rd consecutive MVP. It'll be a 4th MVP in 5 seasons. And his 2nd year with the Dodgers. Going to make it 2 for 2 MVPs and World Championships after he didn't play in a single postseason game in his time with the Angels. Shakes a few times again. Delivers 1-2.
No.
Buckles his knees but misses away.
He's got the nicest shake no I've ever seen.
Oh, everything is very kind and nice and smooth.
I think Scherzer shakes like that.
No. A little more vigor. In the air to left field, Kike Hernandez drifting back to get the shot. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by T-Mobile, now the best network in America. Well, they had prayers sent up to the heavens, they had rally caps, they had tears from Ellen Kershaw. Every emotion you can think of packed into last night's ball game. Today a little bit steadier. The tension growing as it goes late. Strike 1 on Addison Barger. Blue Jays trying to tie this series up. If they can win one of these 2 games where they are not favored when it comes to the starting pitching, if they can steal one of those 2, guarantee that it goes back to Toronto. Ohtani picks this one off and shovels to first. 2 out. A little bit of everything.
Yeah, there's nothing I don't think he can do. I'd love to see him play outfield. Can run everything down.
Well, that was his position when he was playing the field.
Yeah.
And there was even a time earlier this year where he volunteered to go back out and try that again. Dodgers were like, okay, let's draw the line somewhere. I think DH and pitcher is plenty. 2 up, 2 down in the 6th inning. He's looking for his first 1-2-3 since the 2nd. Dangerous hitter here in Kirk.
No.
Out of his hand, 1-0.
No.
2-0. 4 MVPs in 5 years. You'll get the great 5-year blocks in baseball history. From the pitching side, Koufax, 5 straight ERA titles. From the hitting side, Barry Bonds, 4 straight MVPs to start the century. But to do both over a 5-year stretch, singular. Roxon fires 2-1. Kirk climbs the ladder and fouls it back. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
15 wins next year.
Calling it. How many homers?
45.
Ooh, falling short of 50 for the first time. And the Dodger uniform. Home with a 2-2. Strikes out Kirk. Shohei Ohtani in his first World Series game as a pitcher. Marvelous. But the man that's had the last laugh to this point is Vlad Jr. His Jays with a 2-1 lead. 13 innings out of the bullpen in yesterday's game. What do they have left down there tonight? The 0-2 to Tommy Edman. Struck him out. Mason Fluharty out of the bullpen to preserve the line for Bieber. And to preserve the lead for the Blue Jays after 6 innings in Game 4. 2-1. And back after a word from your local Fox station. Baseball, spaces, and more now live on auction from the 2025 World Series. New auctions are added after each game, and you can own a piece of World Series history. MLB.com/World Series auction. Dalton Varsho bangs the first pitch that Ohtani throws into right field, starting the 7th with a single. Blue Jays lead this game 2-1, and a home run from Vlad Jr. back in the 3rd. Dodgers just 1 run of support on 4 hits for Ohtani, who tries to get an out in the 7th inning for the first time as a Dodger and for the first time since July of 2023, when he had a complete game shutout against the Tigers in the afternoon in Detroit. And then in a doubleheader later that night, hit 2 home runs. 1 ball, no strikes on Ernie Clement. Clement trying to extend a 9-game hitting streak. A lot of time to extend it last night. Cranks this ball to left center field. That's headed for the gap. That's headed for the wall. Varsho rounds 3rd and stops on a double from Clement. Screamer of a line drive. Puts him at 2nd and 3rd.
This is the point in the game I was talking about where your stuff and location has to be really, really good, because you lose the extension and late life on your pitches. So location, the later you go, is way more important, and that's going to be it for Ohtani. I mean, still a remarkable job to go into the 7th inning after 18 innings of baseball last night.
Strikes out 6, walks just 1. Blue Jays with at least 2 runs on 6 hits. Anthony Banda is ready to go in that bullpen. Ohtani leads to a good hand. Down 2-1 as Banda and the Dodger pen takes over. In Los Angeles, temperature around 90 today. Vlad Jr. gives the Jays the lead. This is just a big kid that loves baseball. On Guerrero's home run, 2-1 Blue Jays as the Dodger bullpen gets active here in the 7th. Anthony Banda's the pitcher. Jays have him at 2nd and 3rd with nobody out. The infield is in as Andres Jimenez waves and misses at a first pitch slider. Banda faced just 1 hitter yesterday. Finished off Tyler Glasnow's last game. It started that marathon of relievers. Relay race, 9 guys out of the pen. Here's his 0-1.
No.
Ball and a strike. To the Blue Jays bullpen that covered 13 innings in yesterday's game, 12 2/3. Dodgers 13 1/3, and just 1 run. The 1-1 to Jimenez. Anthony, strike 2.
Great pitch right there. No real chance for Jimenez. Got to break a breaking ball off this height of that pitch right there. Put a lot of pressure on the outside part of the plate and go for the strikeout.
Banda deals.
Ooh, man.
Jimenez takes it.
A little bit more on the plate again, and that would have been a tough take. It's a good take as it was, 2-2.
Big part of the Blue Jays offense has been the bottom of the order contributing through this postseason. They've teed it up here for Jimenez on 2-2. In the dirt, Smith's able to keep it in front of him to save a run.
Well, if you're Jimenez, do you sell out on a fastball right here? And what I mean by that is you are going to commit to a fastball over the middle of the zone, and if you see it, go after it. Now, if you commit to that fastball and it's a great breaking ball, you're going to miss it. And it's the challenges of hitting in the big leagues.
Time taken. 9-hitter Kiner-Falefa is on deck. Blue Jays looking for insurance, trying to get some wiggle room to that taxed bullpen. Single from Varsho, double from Clement. 3-2 pitch from Anthony Banda. Fouled it off.
Ooh, man.
Had that fastball.
Yes, he did. Didn't get the barrel, didn't get the head out. to go get that 97. Ohtani really did an incredible job. I don't think people understand. He's still in the game as a hitter, though.
Another payoff. Able to stay alive. Yeah, that is a rule that was created for Ohtani. Players that are designated as two-way players, as he is, when you're the starting pitcher, when you remove, you can stay in as the DH. Different if he was pitching in relief, they would lose him as the DH. Bonda's 8th pitch. Jimenez comes through with a base hit to left center field. Varsha's in to score, and it's 3-1. Andres Jimenez battling with 2 strikes.
That was more like Blue Jays baseball that you've been seeing throughout the playoffs. Runners in scoring position, they have been stingy. This is literally put the bat on the ball and see what happens. And that's what happens when you do put the bat on the ball. Drawn in infield, easier to hit. But if you've got a big swing, you're going to swing and miss. If you've got that short swing, put it in play.
Kind of swing you should have when you're down there hitting 8th. You're in the lineup for your glove. In that situation, do what it calls for.
Now, I don't think they'll do it here, but this is a perfect place for a safety squeeze. 1st and 3rd. Oh, there you go.
He does square, and the corners came crashing. He took a ball.
Safety squeeze. The player at third base is going to read the batter at home, and the first baseman's going to read the batter as he squares around and have to charge. And you, at worst case scenario, you got 2nd and 3rd and 1 out if you make a bad bunt. But now you put pressure on the defense, and if it's executed and you time it right, impossible to throw them out at home.
Squares.
No.
Ball 2.
And then the other thing you do, when you square around a bunt, you have the greatest idea of a strike zone because you can follow the ball all the way. So now a 2-0 count. Now you can take it off. Freddie Freeman's uncertain. And you go ahead and swing maybe here 2-0.
Top of the order next. Counter for Leffa. Takes in the dirt. No signs of the bunt right there.
Perfect execution, even though he never did anything. Now he's worked a 3-0 count. Favor the hitter, and much favor to the Toronto Blue Jays to break this game open.
Chance at a big inning. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. A 3-0 pitch. And a green light for the 9-hitter.
3-0. The one thing, though, and you be disciplined on 3-0, it's a pitch you've got to pull. So if it's a pitch you're fouling off to the right side, you haven't done your part. That means it's either too far outside and you didn't keyhole them in the inner part of the plate.
Coming into the series, we talked about the key for the Blue Jays getting to the Dodger bullpen. That's part of why last night was so shocking. That pen had to cover pretty much the whole game. 11 scoreless innings from the pen to finish. The first inherited runner's already in against Bonda. He's home with a 3-1. Kind of for left, scorch to the 3rd, Messi to 4th, double play!
Wow, that is something you can't do, though, at first base. It's base running 101. Line drive to 3rd, nowhere to go. And, oh, man, I'm sure they're going to look at it.
Does his hand get in there under his...
I'm not so sure it does.
Shoot.
I mean, they got to look at it no matter what.
Challenging the out call at first base.
Replay review presented by Zoom.
Wow.
Bunch of these in last night's game. We have our first one today.
Oh, I think you might be right. Got the oven mitt on the wrong hand. Get a little extension with that oven mitt.
Yeah, you never reach it.
Even though it's regulated, it's all approved by, you can't have a longer one. But that's a reactionary pre-thought when you're base running. You got to say the ball must go through when it's in the air. You pre-think that, and it's a reaction that you know the first move you're going to make is back to the bag. And that ball was hit so hard to third base. To be that close and maybe be out, that would be tough for the Toronto Blue Jays.
And then Muncy with a quick trigger to get it over there to first. Again, the call on the field is that he's out. So do they see enough in New York to overturn this call? This is looking like a golden chance for the Blue Jays to put up a crooked number for an offense that we've talked about has the ability to do that.
just has not been able to lately. Jam that hand on Freddie Freeman's foot. Well, the reason this is so big is you got Guerrero, who may not come to the plate, obviously, if this is an out. But his chances of coming to the plate, if it's safe, is greater, barring a double play, of course, after this call is rendered.
So many defensive plays last night that were key plays.
Secondary lead, line drive, and then he slips. Part of that slipping, getting back, might have been the difference.
Here's the verdict.
After review, the call in the field is overturned. The runner is safe.
Okay.
Toronto will retain the challenge.
So they do see enough there to overturn the call. Jimenez gets his hand back in.
That is huge for the Toronto Blue Jays, and now they're going to... reaction, hot corner, look, throw.
Mark Pryor's coming out for a visit with Anthony Banda because John Schneider has dipped into his bench right here. He sends up Ty France to pinch hit for Nathan Lucas. Banda has to face him.
Yeah.
You have to face 3 hitters after coming in.
Good point. That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. You think about the pinch hit scenario where you know you're not going to lose your pinch hitter to an opposite's arm, or a reliever coming in, right-handed reliever. So some of these moves yesterday, in a perfect world up by 1, didn't end up working for John Schneider because of the way the game unfolded. The very next pitch was a home run. We talked about that. He's hoping to cash in right here with at least a fly ball.
Same aggressive personality that he managed last night's game with. France pinch hitting here in the 7th for a guy who was 2 for 3 tonight. First and third, one away. France waves and misses. He had not had an at-bat. He had not appeared in a game in more than a month when he came off of the bench yesterday when Springer got hurt. Went 1 for 3.
So hard to tell yourself as a hitter. If it's low, let it go.
It was high, let it fly. Bouncer right side. Only play is at first. The run comes through the back door. And right away, that overturn call looms large as Clement comes in to score. And an RBI and a pinch hit ground out from Ty France.
Now they have to walk. They have to walk Guerrero.
Where's the fridge? Where's the fridge?
Contact again, gets it done.
And that's going to do it for Anthony Banda. Those 2 runs are charged to Shohei Ohtani, but Banda, after they put Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on intentionally, unable to pick up where the bullpen left off last night with the heroic relief work. Banda's finished. Jays ahead 4-1, trying to get this series tied up. Keep that line right there. Much different relief work so far in this game. Fluharty does a good job to keep the Blue Jays in front. And then Anthony Banda gives up the 2 runs that he inherits. So 4-1. Trinan's on for Bichette. Walk in the first inning for Bichette. He's 0 for 2 since then. Blake Trinan, who was one of the trusted arms in last season's championship, has struggled mightily this October. There's another shot to deep left. Over the head of Hernandez and against the wall. Bichette hangs on with a long single, and it's 5-1 Blue Jays.
Looking for that first one from Bichette to really let it go, and he did. It's the first missile he's pulled, and you know he's been waiting for this moment. Gets a hanging breaking ball. And he just, that's well over 100, I would think. 106. I'm going to guess 106 miles an hour. Guessing.
We'll get that answer for you.
Total guess.
109.6.
Okay.
Had the 6 in there. Blake Trinan has now faced 8 hitters in this World Series and given up hits to 5 of them. 2 on, 2 out. Barger. Ground ball left side. Pass Yes, Mookie Betts in at 6-1. A 4th spot for the Jays in the 7th.
Well, what happens with Blake Treinen when you're not 100% is that sinker that is so nasty has a bowling ball drop off the table effect. It's just not as effective. That late movement allows the hitter to track it. Breaking ball hanger and the sinker that you hit on the ground that you think you're going to get the out just doesn't have that last extra movement that misses the barrel. And that's the difference.
And the difference in this game, Fluharty getting out of the jam in the bottom of the 6th. Bonda and Treinen failing to do the same in the top of the 7th. Kirk.
No. And then what you do with your hand, you try to break your sinker more than it's got to be natural. And when you come over the top, see that ball, he pulls over the top. It has this like fall to it and not late movement. That's when you're not behind the ball, you're not fluid and free. And the hitter can recognize that at the plate.
And the Blue Jays suddenly are looking right at it, at that one game that they needed to steal here in Los Angeles to guarantee that they take the Dodgers with them back to Canada.
Now, you know, we get to go through the locker room. You never know what goes into a day after a game that is really gut punching. There wasn't dancing, but they were free.
Playing video games.
They were like just a game. It was a hard game, but they were loose and ready to play tonight. Can't say that for every team that goes through a game like that.
Jack Dreyer. The left-handed batting Varsho's on deck. 2 balls, 1 strike on Alejandro Kirk. 2 hits, including a home run last night. He's looking for his first hit today. On a 2-1. Watching strike 2. The line drive to right field. Tasker Hernandez puts it away. But the Blue Jays tack on with 4 in the top of the 7th. We stretch in game 4. They're 9 outs away from guaranteeing that those fans get a chance to watch their club at least one more time this year.
Best break baseball. 4 of their 5 hits in that inning on the first or second pitch of the at-bat. They're almost like the Showtime Lakers of baseball, the way they just push the tempo offensively. That's a credit to the hitting coach, David Popkins. Interesting story. He's a hitting coach in the Dodgers' low minor league system, hired by the Twins, was there for 3 years and got fired. The Blue Jays fired their hitting coach last year, and John Schneider interviewed 4 candidates. Popkins was the last. After that interview, he walked into the office of GM Ross Atkins and said, "We found our guy." No. And the Blue Jays went from 23rd in runs to 3rd in Major League Baseball in runs scored.
The offense coming to life again here in game 4, leading 6-1. They got 2 against Ohtani in the 3rd inning, 4 runs partially against Ohtani, then against the pen in the last half inning. 2-1 on Show Hei, and we ride the seesaw of narratives and momentum in the postseason as much as anybody. It's starting to shift back to what is wrong with the Dodger offense. Thanks to the relief work last night, it gave them time to break through with the winning run. But another quiet day today. In on him, roll to the second. Chris Bassett with a 1-2-3 7th. Into the 8th inning we go in game 4. A 6-1 Blue Jay lead. Please got a rally cap. Grounded to 3rd. Clements got it. Just in time at first. Hernandez in to score 6-2.
Yeah, those runners on base don't mean anything. And it's anyone else who gets on base that becomes good play here. Almost took just a little too long.
Ernie's saying baseball card dialed in. Hernandez knocked in their first run. Ball one. 13 hitters faced in this series by Varland, and it starts to look like he's maybe running out of steam. 7 of the 13 have reached. 5 hits, 2 walks.
Yep.
Helped him out. Former Minnesota Twin, deadline pickup. Fires 1-1. Into the strike. Game was started by one deadline pickup in Shane Bieber. John Schneider would love to finish it with another. The 1-2 to Kike Hernandez.
No.
Lays off. Count evens up. Got him with a breaking ball. 2 gone in the 9th.
Really good break on that to get Kike Hernandez to swing at this looking like a fastball coming out of his hand.
Up to Alex Call to try to get this to the top of the order for the Dodgers. Down 6-2, down to their last out. In a game that turned in a 1-inning stretch from the bottom of the 6th to the top of the 7th today. Bottom of the 6th inning, 2 on with 1 out. Mason Fluharty comes in for Shane Bieber, gets out of that jam. A half inning later, Dodger bullpen comes into a similar situation and gives up 4 runs. So you talk about the home run from Guerrero, you talk about the rally from the offense and the length of the lineup in the 7th, but don't forget the name Mason Fluharty tonight. Varland's 0-1 pitch, come after a look at second. Trey Savage, Blake Snell, Game 5 tomorrow. It'll be the last game in L.A. this season. And 1963 will remain the only championship the Dodgers have hoisted in front of their home crowd.
Man, what's going on?
Is he worried that he's delivering signs?
If you're worried about it, do it one more time. Send him over to third.
The auto block you'll sometimes see relievers do. Get out of there where you can't see, then it might go up. There you go. That's the third disengagement, an automatic block. And he's saying, that's exactly what I wanted. Now you can't see into my glove.
Right.
Everybody.
Now the 0-1. Call off of the bench for Pages. Took strike 3 called his first time. If the choice is Kike Hernandez to center field instead of Andy Pages, Call may find himself in the lineup.
No.
Ahead 2-1.
So there's 2 ways if you're wondering what could happen as base runner at second. He can see the grip in the glove. That's one way you can relay a sign, or location. Perfectly legal to relay signs on the field.
Line drive left field. Miles Straw puts it away. And the Blue Jays have tied this series up. After the gut-wrenching loss last night that might have just wiped the lesser team off, the Blue Jays bounce back and win it 6-2.
Very impressive. You know both teams were running on fumes. But the team that had the most adrenaline was the team that won last night, and that was the Dodgers. And give the Blue Jays